Crookneck squash. I just bring it in the house in the fall, set it in the kitchen on a shelf, and because of the wood stove, it dries the house out so much that it just turns into like a gourd. And we just harvest our own seeds. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but maybe. Set this down for a second. So I just smacked it. You can see just one has more seeds than you'd ever know what to do with. And these things just germinate so fast, just about can't kill the squash. So I just harvest my own seeds. I know that seeds are cheap, but that's what I do. Well, sometimes they'll get moldy. I brought 3 in, and 2 of them decided to dry out just like this. They germinate really quick, so that's a good way to not have to buy seeds. Just hold your own back. I can do the same with corn, as long as it's not Terminator seed from Monsanto Corporation. Then it'll keep producing. But all of our corn has been able to turn around. And one person told me if you keep planting the same corn, eventually it does what's called a throwback, because corn of today is genetically modified. A guy was telling me, he's an organic farmer. He says you keep replanting your own seed stock, and eventually it goes back to this tiny little head of corn. And what we have today, this giant long corn heads that we have, are not what it used to be originally. So if you keep replanting your own corn, eventually you'll get a throwback. I doubt that'll happen with squash. Anyway, we went ahead and planted yesterday. It got up to 65. The bush beans are in, and the corn is in. I do corn on one side and then the bush beans on the sunny side. The corn jumps up out of the ground so fast, and this whole bed's corn. I put it this close together last year, and I'm still eating corn from last year. We just blanch it and freeze it. So I have a whole row of pole beans that I was going to plant with the corn, and the pole beans are taller than the corn, and I think I've done it wrong. I should have put the corn in, let it get really tall, and then just push the pole beans into the ground. So I'm going to go along this fence right here. Have a low spot here, and I threw in some treated boards there, and I'll put a weed cloth over it and backfill it with soil, and then I can plant and get all the weeds out along the fence and just plant pole beans along this fence this year. I'll just dig a ditch and fill it full of homemade potting soil and let her grow up the fence. At least right here, where if I take that board down, I don't think a deer would walk across that board on the other side of the fence. But at least right here, they can't poke their noses through and get to the pole beans. It might be kind of a neat deal to take this whole fence line and put those climbing snow peas on there too. Anyway, it's an awful lot of digging. We'll see what happens. Anyway, have a very blessed day. I sure am.